What's up, everybody, and welcome to our first podcast titled Seeds and Stix. I'm Rob Rundle here with a long childhood friend of mine, Ryan Rendring. How are you?
What's going on, folks? It's a beautiful Sunday out here in Northern Kentucky.
Yes, sir. Yes, it is. This podcast, basically, just a little rundown real quick. Just talking a little bit about baseball, just what's going on each and every day, what's going on periodically. And we're just going to talk a little bit about our backgrounds to start out, and then we'll move right in. So, Ryan, why don't you kind of tell us a little bit about you?
Absolutely, folks. So, I'm Ryan Rendring from Northern Kentucky. Lived here my entire life. From the Florence area. I'm actually living in Independence now.
859.
859 all day, every day. Now, I went to Beechwood High School, played baseball throughout there. Then went to Louisville for 2 years, college, and finished up at NKU after an additional 2 years. And that's about it for me. Huge baseball fan, huge Reds fan,
Right.
Cincinnati all day, every day.
Oh, my gosh. Cincinnati Reds guy. A little bit about me, guys. Name's Rob Rundle. I went to Beechwood too. Ryan and I, we kind of met during baseball season. I think it was my 8th grade year, your freshman year?
Yeah, I got there freshman year.
Yeah, and that's kind of, we've been friends ever since, and we both like baseball a lot. Played 4 years at a small school down in Eastern Kentucky, and now I'm pursuing my master's in communication at NKU. It's pretty awesome that we're still here after 9 years, still, being involved with baseball in some aspect. And why don't we start off what's some of your favorite players or your teams?
Absolutely. Fantastic question right there, Rob. So, favorite team, no doubt the Reds, followed closely, not too closely though, Boston Red Sox.
Really?
Favorite players now would have to be Billy Hamilton, starters out, but now that he's no longer a Cincinnati Red, I'm going to have to be changing that here soon. So, favorite pitcher right now would have to be Raisel Iglesias, actually.
Raisel.
Gotta love Raisel Iglesias. And then Michael Lorenzen and Luis Castillo to follow behind. Favorite position player, that's a tough one right now. I love watching Mookie Betts. Trout's awesome. Mm-hmm. But I'd have to pick a Red. So I'm going to go with Jesse Winker.
Dude, he's a stud.
Jesse Winker's a stud.
He's pretty good.
On-base machine.
For real.
You turn around, that dude's getting on base. But I'll go with Jesse Winker and I'll go Suarez, but I'm very, very excited to watch Yasiel Puig this year.
Oh, dude,
very
for sure.
Excited.
Do you think he's going to hit 40 home runs in GABP? Just
he-
playing there 81 days out of the year?
Easily.
Yeah, for sure.
No doubt.
I agree. So why are they your favorite players, though? I mean, there's got to be some reason behind it. I know that you're a huge Reds fan, but there's got to be another reason behind it.
Absolutely. Well, let's start with Billy. He's the easiest one. So Billy is, besides
God, you've always
not
loved Billy,
not
dude.
getting on base
My
a lot,
gosh.
he's exactly how I would try and play, except I try and get on base a little bit more than he would. Now, I love the defense. He's just an absolute star on defense.
That is true.
Steals a lot of bases, and that's what I did, high school area,
chill.
trying to steal bases, trying to he should learn to bunt more, which I've always kind of wanted him to do.
Yeah.
But he just needs to get on base more. But other than that, he brings a great attitude, speed, his saying, speed kills.
Yeah, for
just
sure.
just got to hit a little bit better.
Yeah. Dude, for sure, man. And just kind of flipping it around, I think a lot of people are shocked, what my favorite team is and some of my favorite players. My favorite team has always been the Oakland Athletics, and people are just why? Why?
That's a great question. Why?
I mean, I like the Reds.
Oakland.
I like the Reds, Homer Bailey kind of really,
That's a sour subject.
Yes, let's not talk about that. That kind of really hurt me, and then the whole Brian Price thing just kind of made it worse. But I've always liked Oakland. Even before Moneyball came out, Josh Reddick was on the team, and he was my favorite player back in the day. And I love their colors. I just love the whole aspect of, honestly, just having different players every year, because I just had a really short attention span. And it was cool just seeing, old veterans and just new players coming, and I like their colors. And then Moneyball came out, and I really liked them after that, the whole small market business side of things, and I was starting to adapt and learn how that stuff worked. And kind of going on like who my favorite players are. I think obviously number one is Crush Davis.
Crush Davis. Dude
Leading
just mashes home runs.
I know. I cannot wait to see. I don't know if he's going to have another great year, but I can guarantee you he will hit 247 again.
That's true. That's guaranteed.
That's guaranteed. Like, no doubt. Check it off. But I don't think he's going to hit as many home runs for sure like he did last year. I think he's
How
going to.
many you got? I still say 40 plus.
Oh, for sure, but he's not. Yeah.
Moneyball, by the way, top 5 baseball movie. Top 3,
for
actually.
sure. We might have to talk a little bit about that. What our favorite baseball movies are. But another favorite player that I have, or someone similar, is Alex Bregman.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, I really like Bregman. I like the way he plays, his tenacity, and I like how outside of baseball he tries to like engage with the fans and try and increase viewership. I like him a lot. Some pitchers I like. I love John Lester. I really do.
Johnny Lester.
John Lester. And every time he throws the ball to first base, I get excited.
Which happens about once every 3 years.
Once every 3 years. Yeah. But
two guys I just forgot to mention, actually. Well, this is kind of in the past, but Brandon Phillips. Talk about a fan favorite.
That dude, BP.
That dude, BP.
Yeah, you can't go wrong with him. Now, that guy he was like the face of the franchise. Like, he wasn't the best player, but he just showed personality. And so that's definitely a huge player back in the day.
Absolutely. 2 other guys I just thought of off the top of my head.
Oh, yeah. Who are they?
Jose Altuve.
Oh, my gosh.
Just
yeah.
because, he's beating everything with his size.
Dude, for real.
And Marcus Stroman.
Oh, my. All right, we got to give a little background about the Marcus Stroman. Why do we like Marcus Stroman?
So strong-willed on the mound. First of all, it's just he's straight entertainment on the mound, which I absolutely love.
Yeah, 100%.
Now going further into the background, he was at college at Duke with Mike Stud.
Yeah.
A great rapper.
Yes, sir. No, like, he honestly has a disgusting slider. And, like, that whole aspect of him, what was it? He tore his ACL or something, came back, a year later, like, the same season, and pitched in the playoffs. Like, you don't see that.
No. I think he's going to have
insane.
He's going to have a bounce back year.
Yeah, because he had a good year. Was it 2 years ago or something like
Good
that?
year 2 years ago, then a horrific year last year. But he'll be bouncing back.
Granted, he had to play against,
the toughest division in baseball.
Yeah.
Red Sox and Rays.
And then the Orioles.
So he got the Orioles.
Yeah.
3 tough teams, 1 awful team.
Right. Okay, so what are your top... Should we do top 5 or top 3 favorite? I say top 3. What are your top 3 favorite baseball movies?
Top 3 favorite baseball movies.
Yeah.
Number 1, top of the list. Easy for me, Sandlot.
Right.
Number 2, I'd probably go Moneyball, honestly.
Yeah.
Number 3, I'm not even sure I have a number 3, to be honest with you.
Oh,
Maybe
on.
Angels in the Outfield?
I just watched that the other day.
I was going to say,
that's a great
that's probably
movie.
top 3.
Dude, I haven't watched... I mean, it's crazy thinking that we were watching that when we were younger, and it's that old.
True. Your top 3?
My top 3, I think we know what number 1 is.
Moneyball.
Right. Number 2 is The Rookie.
The Rookie, okay.
I love that. Just the whole Jim Morris, being a science teacher and trying out for the Rays, or I think it was just Major League Baseball teams. And then, oh, dude, I love that movie. And then number 3, 61. Actually.
61.
Yeah, Roger Maris and Mickey Mantle talking about trying to beat Babe Ruth's single season record for home runs.
Ooh.
So, if anyone hasn't watched that, which I hope you have, you need to watch it. You can watch it on YouTube and some other... You haven't watched it?
I have not watched it.
Oh my gosh, come on.
Where did you see that movie on?
It was on YouTube.
For real? I've never even heard of it.
Listen, it has Spanish subtitles, but you can kind of...
You can
overlook it. Yeah.
You can get over that part. No, I haven't heard of it, though. It sounds pretty good.
Yeah, so like...
I love a nice baseball movie.
Well, it's really good because like the whole aspect was when Ruth was playing, they only played 154 games. So when Maris broke Ruth's record, they were playing 162.
Yeah.
So they were talking about the whole asterisk thing, and even trying to beat it was just like a hard feat for him. But yeah, it's just a really cool movie. Just something to look out for.
Absolutely. I have to think about that next time, that's for sure.
Right. So let's move on here in the podcast. Obviously, white elephant in the room. I mean, Harper, Machado, and also Craig Kimbrell.
Not to mention Dallas Keuchel.
I mean, there's tons of guys. But let's talk about Harper and Machado first. What is your whole viewpoint on the situation right now? I mean, as we're recording, it's February 17th. Like, people have already, reported to Arizona and Florida. What is taking these guys so long?
So my thoughts on the whole thing. Harper and Machado are doing exactly what they should, trying to get the absolute most money that they possibly can for the longest amount of time. Can't blame them for that. However, my viewpoint on it here, the owners are doing what they should too. They don't want to lock down their franchise for 10 plus years and over $300 million to just one player.
Right.
Now that's where I think there's going to have to be some kind of compromise in there where I think it's going to be like a 5 to 6 year deal. Yeah. That's what I think the max should be anyway.
I agree with that, yeah.
But I mean, the only way I can see 10 plus year deals, and like we've seen so many of them fail, Albert Pujols just comes to mind right off the top of my head with the Angels.
Yeah.
And then the only way I can do the 10-year deal is literally if it's like a Mike Trout, once in a generation type player, and he's like 26 years old. That's the only time I can see even with the Reds, and I love the Reds, as everybody knows here.
Yeah.
Joey Votto's 10-year deal, it's still incredibly long and massive, and that does hold back your franchise at some points. And Joey Votto's been awesome.
Right, I was just going to say that.
He's been awesome.
Yeah, right. I mean, he's actually kind of lived up to it because I was just kind of like, oh, God, here we go.
No, he really has.
He really has, but still,
it locks down. And then you got to think, and this one wasn't nearly as long, but like the Homer Bailey contract, that was a disaster.
That literally ruined like 3 to 4 years.
Yeah, because they couldn't get him off the books until they finally made this trade, which we can get into
Yeah,
later.
we'll get into that later.
That kind of turned things around a little bit.
Yeah, see, for me, the whole aspect is, what drives me nuts, it's absolutely ridiculous, is the fact that these two guys not signing is indirectly affecting other players who should be on a roster right now.
A whole bunch of players.
It's ridiculous. I mean, guys like Dallas Keuchel, the dude pitched in the ALCS last year. I mean, he's a former Cy Young winner. I think it was like 2015. I think he won. I mean, also another guy to keep in mind too is Marwin Gonzalez. Guy can play everywhere. And why is he not signed? Why is he not signed?
Yep. The domino has to get rolling with Harper and Machado before those guys fall.
Exactly, and that's what really sucks because like we can't even make a solid prediction of what teams are going to be great. I mean, we have an idea, but until we actually have something set in stone,
there's so many guys that are going to change things.
It's ridiculous, and I kept thinking about this in my head. It's just like, could Harper? I don't think Machado would. But I think Harper would sign a pillow contract going back to the Nats or possibly the Cubs just for a really, really big 1-year deal.
Huge 1-year deal? Potentially. Yeah. But he has come out and said he doesn't want a short-term deal.
I know. See,
but I understand what you're saying. 1 year, like, 30 mil or something like that. Something crazy.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Where do you think, let's start with Machado. Where do you think Machado's going to sign?
I still think Machado is either going to the White Sox or the Yankees. I can't determine who I think. I mean, you got the whole brother-in-law situation with the White Sox and everything like that. However, you can't count the Yankees out of it.
You never can, and it sucks.
That's true. Just because, I mean,
Sorry
all the
for
money.
all the Yankees fans, but you guys suck. I mean, you guys get every single player. I mean, they have DJ LeMahieu as a backup second baseman right now.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
That's insane.
The other one, too, and that's where I'm kind of struggling, is, the Phillies are going to get one of these guys.
Oh,
so
no
that's what I do think.
Doubt.
I think they're actually going to end up getting Harper. That's why I'm saying Machado to either the White Sox or the Yankees. That would be my prediction.
I agree with that. Well, I agree with the White Sox. So with Machado, I think the White Sox are in first place for getting him right now. At least that's just speculation.
Right.
But I've said this before, and I'll say it again. I think the New York Mets are a perfect fit for Machado. So they have
sleeper.
Right now they have Jed at third base, and they have Ahmed Rosario and Robbie Cano. Obviously, Robbie Cano can play first base. He's probably going to play first base, right? So then, let's just slide Ahmed Rosario over to second, and then what do you know? Here's room for Manny Machado. Now I don't really know what their payroll's like.
That's what I'm saying because they're still trying to work out
DeGrom.
They're still trying to work out contract extension with DeGrom.
And honestly, I think
potentially Syndergaard.
You'd want a loyal guy like DeGrom anyway. Honestly, I'd rather have DeGrom right now over Machado. I know that's a bold statement, but he's loyal, and I know. But it's a team that I could kind of see him because people said, what's a sleeper team for Machado? And I think that is honestly one of the sleeper teams.
That's a sleeper team, and they definitely have money. That's for sure.
Yeah, I mean,
That's a fact.
definitely.
Definitely have the market for him.
Definitely. But now let's talk about this guy, Craig Kimbrell. How screwed is he?
Very screwed. Craig Kimbrell doesn't know what he's
Dude.
talking about. First of all, the guy's asking for like 15 more years than he should get. He's a
my
reliever.
gosh.
So first of all, these guys, I mean, even if you're the stud, most of these guys have, very good years, very bad year, up
Yeah.
and down, up and down. I mean, granted,
Yeah.
now if you're one of the game's best, which I guess he's up there, but still, the amount of years he's asking for, no owner's going to do that. Not one owner, and I think he's come to realize that no one's going to do that. He's going to have to come down on that offer if he wants to play next year.
Yeah, and I was actually thinking about this too, just a couple days ago. I was like, how much you want to bet Craig Kimbrell signs with the Braves for like some like really garbage contract, because he knows that like he's now in the Braves like basket, like they got him right where they want him, or any team really.
Really?
Because like that's the thing. And this year has been a really bad offseason. I think everyone can agree with that.
Very slow.
But it hasn't been a good relief market because Andrew Miller went to the Cardinals. Ottavino went to the Yankees. Those were the two big guys this year.
That's about it, yeah.
I mean, that's about it. And,
Reliever. There's a lot of relievers still out
and
there.
Edwin Diaz, actually.
Edwin Diaz
So,
with
yeah.
the trade, yeah.
But, I mean, honestly, though, like, there's no market for him.
No, not at
There's
all.
no market for him. So the fact that, all these pitchers and catchers and players have reported to spring training already, and he's still, twiddling his thumbs, just kind of waiting. He's like, crap.
He's got to come down on that offer. Got to.
Got to.
By multiple years.
Prove your worth.
Yep.
One good year. I mean, yes, he's a really good reliever, but I mean, he had a really good year last year, but still,
But he's not worth the 6 to 8 years. No way.
no reliever is. I don't think.
No,
I'd say
absolutely
max 3 to 4 years, just because longevity purposes and.
I mean, yeah, for real. I don't think any reliever is worth. Who's the best reliever in the game right now?
Honestly, see, I would say
We'll just go based off last year's stats if you want to.
last year's stats. I'm very biased, and I'm going to say Blake Trinan.
Okay, I knew you were gonna say that. Actually, he did have a sick year. I'm not gonna lie, but not worth 6 to 8 years.
No, absolutely
way.
not.
No way.
No way.
So that's what I'm saying. Like no reliever should get that. It's nothing against Craig Kimbrell. Just no reliever is gonna get that.
No shot. Who do you think was the best reliever last year?
I didn't even think of Blake Trinan, but I was honestly gonna go with Edwin Diaz.
Yeah, that was my second choice.
So-
The dude was nasty.
Dude's a stud.
Now, if we think of a career-wise or something like that, I mean, you could throw Andrew Miller in there. I mean, he's had
Andrew Miller's
injuries.
awesome. Yep.
He's had injuries. I really don't know how I feel about Chapman. I really don't. But
Not the game's top reliever. I mean, he's up there in relievers,
Yeah.
but
I think Joe Kelly's really good too, actually.
Joe Kelly's really good. I like watching him pitch.
But yeah, I think Diaz and Trinan, just based off of last year alone, were definitely the two studs on the bump. But speaking about the mound, I think it's important to just kind of go into our next topic here with some rule changes. Now, I've seen
Potential rule changes.
potential. I've seen so many different articles about rule changes, and I'm just like, okay, I don't know which ones are credible, which ones aren't. I really don't. But one of the things I heard about was moving the mound back. I think it was like to 61 some feet, and I was like, okay, I understand you want to do this, I guess for the hitter's sake, or lower it. But you got to think, if you do that, think of how much it's not only going to cost Major League Baseball, but high school teams and college teams, Division I through NAIA and JUCO, because they have
Everyone's
to
gotta
adapt.
change it, yeah.
They have to adapt, and that's going to cost honestly, it might cost $1 billion. It might, because you got to, I don't know, but like
Everyone would have to change, yeah.
I mean, that's just kind of a stupid rule in my opinion. Just don't change something that isn't broken. Don't fix something that's not broken. But like some of the rule changes I saw was at a pitch clock, relievers face at least 3 batters. Let's start with that one. So relievers facing at least 3 batters. What do you think about that?
That's a tough call for me, honestly. I don't mind the initial thought of it because, I mean, if you're wanting to improve pace of play, get the games over quicker, that does make sense. But I still would veto that. I'd be against. Just because, I mean, that takes out the whole room for some guys literally have an MLB career of being a lefty specialist.
Yeah.
You can basically throw that out the door if you get it with that rule change. So I'd probably be against that. But I do kind of like the initial thought of that in the future at some point, maybe.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you, honestly. Because I just love the whole strategy
Yeah,
of it, you know?
it takes a lot of strategy out of the game, right?
Yeah, and it's just really important. Just for me, like being an avid baseball fan, I like that, and I understand. You know, we're trying to increase viewership. We want the pace of play to increase or to diminish. Actually, excuse me. Sorry about that. But I could see it maybe potentially later on.
Yeah, that's how I
Maybe
feel.
trying spring training, maybe next year or like Arizona Fall Leagues or something, just to see.
Right.
How
I
it
really
is.
don't hate the thought of it, to be honest.
I
Like,
don't hate it either.
I don't
It's probably
hate-
the one rule that I'm not
Right.
like.
Because, I mean, even when you're at the game sometimes and, the guy comes in for one batter and then boom, okay, he's out, next guy's in. Like, I don't like that completely, but that's totally baseball. So, like I said, the lefty specialist, I mean, that's that guy's job to get, Joey Votto out.
Right. Another one I saw. This is crazy. I don't know if it's like I said. I've seen so many different rule changes, like proposals. 7 inning games. Like my first initial response is no freaking way. Just because, like, think about it. It would affect future records. I mean, it changes the game completely. It takes away 324 innings away per team, which also tallies up to 9,720 innings for the entire league. I mean, that's just crazy because you're going to have to change whip, FIP, everything. I mean, what do you think?
Absolutely not for that rule change. That's one of the dumbest rule propositions I've ever
definitely.
heard of for the MLB.
Oh,
First of all,
let's slow the or let's quick up or speed up the
yeah,
pace
that would
of
definitely
play.
speed up the pace.
Oh,
That
but
would
let's
solve
play
that
7
issue.
innings.
But yeah, that's like I don't even know, middle school games. I'm not even sure they go 7 innings.
They go like 5 or 6.
Yeah,
but
something-
think about this though,
it's like-
Ryan. Think about this. Like starters, they usually go 7 innings, 6 or
That's-
7 innings.
that's exactly what I
That's
was
going
just
to take
about
away
to bring up.
careers for relief pitchers. Like they're not going to have jobs.
I was gonna say in that case, if we thought the reliever market was bad now,
Yeah.
teams would be caring about 4 less guys and then just making the rest position players.
Yeah.
Like you wouldn't even need that many relievers
Exactly.
if it's 7 inning game. Granted, the starters are going less and less in games now, but still, if they go 5 innings, there's only 2 innings left.
Yeah.
You need maybe 2 relievers a game.
Yeah, it's
So I'm very against that rule change.
right. One that I actually do like is adding the pitch clock. It's weird. I see it in GABP all the time. I don't know if that's just like a media thing.
I think they're trying it in minor league parks, but I did see that last year, so I don't really know what's going on with that. But I
Yeah.
know the pitchers didn't follow it all the way
Oh
completely.
no. It'd be like a 0
Depending
for
on
like
the
12
pitcher.
seconds.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, it's insane. So, okay. What about universal DH? Do you like it or do you not like it?
I do not like the universal DH. I do think that's the way it's going, though, here very soon. But I'm very, very against it. I like watching the pitchers hit. I actually think there's a lot more strategy involved in the NL than the AL. And I think, basically coming up, like, sometimes the pitchers are honestly the best athletes in bat anyway. So, that's just the game.
Guys like Mad Bum, Syndergaard.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Michael Lorenzen even as a reliever.
Oh, yeah.
But Kershaw's not awful. But I like having the pitcher in there. I always prefer the NL over the AL. But I do think the DH is coming here soon.
Yeah. You got to think, too, though. Like, fans, they want to see home runs. They don't want to see strikeouts.
They want to see more runs put on the scoreboard, and that's what
Exactly.
the DH is going to do.
Exactly. And honestly, like, I don't like it either. I'm a National League guy, too, when it comes to that aspect. But
I'm surprised, an Oakland A fan.
well, I know, but, like, I do like seeing the pitchers bat. Like, seeing Archie Bradley in the wild card game hit that
Right.
triple, it gave me goosebumps. 'Cause it's like, holy crap. Like, this is a huge momentum swing of the game. Like, if that was just any other player, let's just say it was David Peralta for the Diamondbacks, and he hits a triple. Like, okay, like, yeah, that was a good hit. But,
makes
like,
sense.
holy crap, Archie Bradley, the relief
Right.
pitcher, comes in and absolutely strokes the ball to right center field. Like, there's just nothing that beats that. And, like, when Bartolo Colon hit that home run, I absolutely lost my mind.
I love it. Dude was probably rubbing his stomach while rounding for
Big
his
sexy.
face.
Big sexy.
Gotta love Big Sexy.
Big sexy. There was a commercial for MLB The Show 19, and it said, it was like, Bartolo. It was like
Bartolo.
Bartolo. And then they showed him running the bases real slow, and they named like a cologne after
I was gonna
him.
say that should definitely be the intro for MLB The Show.
It
It's
was,
just
dude. It was hilarious.
Bartolo Colon in the dugout or something.
Dude, I know. It was really funny. And then they said, wait, hold on. This isn't like a cologne segment, like cologne spray segment. And then they
Right.
showed him like playing and stuff. No, it was really cool though. But no, going back to everything, I mean, yeah, I'm a strategy based guy. So like we play this, for people who don't know, we play in this league called Dynasty League Baseball, Chase for the Pennant. And it's really awesome. It allows you to take complete control of your team. And that's just another reason why I like the National League. Again,
It's like a board game, basically. Is the best way to describe it.
A dice board game.
Yeah, and you
Yeah.
roll dice,
yep,
and all the numbers are based off last year's stats. It's pretty cool.
it is pretty cool. And everybody when they join the league, they draft 40 players. So like for me, I have Jose Ramirez, Gene Segura, Noah Syndergaard. It's just really cool, and honestly, I think that's really what got me even more into baseball. Just not from being an Oakland fan, but like being a baseball fan, knowing all the players basically for every team.
As if you weren't already. But no, it really
Right.
does. It helps you get to know a lot more players that you would have never heard of before.
Right. Are there any rule changes that like you would like to see, like personally? Like just anything new or
Off the top of my head, maybe the 30-second pitch clock. But then again, I'm not too thrilled with that one either. Like, guys are going to take longer, but I think that's the best way to speed up the game. Other than that, it would be basically just when the relievers come in, they don't get, 15 pitches to warm up.
yeah, they should already be warmed up.
Exactly. They were just throwing in the bullpen for about 10 minutes.
I know.
So that'd be the other thing to
like that, actually.
speed up the game. What
Yeah.
about you?
Definitely drop third strike, get rid of it. I hate it. I absolutely hate it.
We're going to disagree on this one.
I absolutely hate it. It drives me nuts.
The drop third strike.
Yeah, it's like if you swing at a pitch that's so bad, okay, and then you have the potential, you have a potential chance to get to first base and be safe. It's complete crap. Okay, I don't listen. I see you
I can't
smiling
wait to
over
jump
there.
in here.
I see you smiling over there, but like that also just kind of ruins, pace of play. But that's just kind of my ideology on it. Well, okay, let's hear what you have to say, big fella.
So if he can't run to first base and it was such a great pitch, why couldn't the catcher catch it?
Okay, that like hardly ever happens
But why should you not be allowed to go to first base
because
if
you
the catcher
struck
can't
out.
Catch it?
Because you suck. Because you struck out.
You
You should not be rewarded with a strikeout.
But if it was that awful of a pitch, you should have a chance to get to first base if the catcher can't catch it.
But why would you swing? Why would you swing at an awful pitch? And be like, oh wait, hold on, let me run to first base.
You
I have
thought
a
it. You
chance.
thought it was a good pitch. You were fooled.
Oh
But the
my
catcher still got to
gosh.
catch it. That's part of the game.
Oh my gosh, dude, no way.
That's part of the game.
Okay, but like, no. That's just ridiculous. There's no reason why they should have the drop third strike. There's just no reason. Like, okay, if the catcher drops one right down the middle, okay, like, yeah, I see what you're saying. He
Then-
drops it. It's
yeah,
like,
that's
why
great,
can he
but
catch it?
He's going to throw him out, though, at that point. I'm
Maybe.
saying if the ball goes to, like, the backstop, you should absolutely have a chance to get to first base.
I highly disagree. I just think, like,
I personally don't
if you
think
strike
that
out,
one's
you
ever gonna be
strike out.
changed.
Yeah,
No, I get your
I don't
point
think
on
it
that
will
one.
either,
He swung
but-
at a bad pitch, but I still think the catcher should have to, even if he can't catch it, he should block it. Like, that's what the catcher is there for. Or else, if not, we would just have a pitcher throwing to nobody, and then the batter either, swings or doesn't.
True. All right. I mean, I don't know. I think we're just on.
Rambling on.
Yeah, we're rambling on here. Let's see here. Okay, so let's just go ahead and move on from the rule changes. So something we mentioned about briefly was off seasons. It's been a really slow off season for free agents across the board. We're going to talk about who we think had the best off seasons and who had the worst off seasons, and we'll start with Ryan. So, who do you think?
We just got breaking news here, folks.
Oh no, what is it? You want to read it? Or do you want me to read it? I'll read it.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, so breaking news as of 2:10 p.m.
Bryce Harper.
Bryce Harper. So talks have been intensified and are heating up. So Phillies are the favorite, but it still remains if it'll be a long-term deal. Reportedly, though, he's seeking, obviously $300 million. Oh, I'm sorry. Is that not enough for you, Bryce?
He'd like more.
Oh, yeah. I think $500 million would suffice. But nothing's set in stone, though. But talks are heating up with Philadelphia. And honestly, I've seen a lot of this in the past couple of weeks. But, this looks promising.
I definitely think
it's
that's
reported by John Heyman.
That's definitely where he's going.
Obviously, the Phillies are going to get one of them. It's inevitable. Like, there's no doubt.
Because they already came out earlier in the year and said they were spending a ton of money. So, that leads you to believe they're signing at least one. And Bryce has been the favorite over Machado the whole offseason.
Yeah. So, talking about these off seasons, who do you think has had the best offseason so far and why?
So, best offseason, biased opinion, I guess I'll get that one out of the way first, is the Reds. I actually really do think they've had a great offseason. A lot of one-year guys, but, if nothing else, they're going to make a playoff push. If not that, if they're awful by the deadline, they have a lot of trade chips. So I absolutely love their offseason. Another one, and this kind of burns me to say this, but the Cardinals have had a good offseason.
Yep.
Goldschmidt, one of the best first basemen.
And Andrew Miller.
In the league, if not the best first baseman, and Andrew Miller. The Mets have had a good offseason. The other two kind of randomly that I threw in here that not many people probably have known about. I guess the Nats a little bit people have heard about because Patrick Corbin, obviously.
Yeah.
The other one is actually the Astros. I know they lost Keuchel, but they added an outfielder who people forget about, Michael Brantley.
Yeah.
That team's already stacked. And I get Keuchel's a big loss, but that team's going to be right back in the thick of things.
Dude,
in
him,
the AL West.
Springer, and Reddick in the outfield. That's disgusting.
Sick. And don't even look at their infield because that's even better.
Dude.
Talk about a stacked lineup.
Oh my
Houston's got it.
That's true. I didn't even think about that. Obviously, I agree with you with the Reds.
Puig.
And honestly, I think it's
Alex
good for
Wood.
the fans. The fans want to see big names. Obviously, Yasiel Puig will do that for you. Sonny Gray, who
former Oakland.
He was a former Oakland boy out of Vanderbilt.
Your boy.
Yeah, I really liked him in Oakland. He had a couple good years, and then he got traded to New York, and I think New York was just too much for him to handle.
Yep.
He was amazing on the road, though. I definitely think he's going to have a bounce-back year with the Reds. I think he needs it for his career, and it was smart for the Reds to tally him up for, 2-3 years?
3-year deal.
Yeah.
For something, just like what we were talking about, though, with the years and the money.
Yeah,
they
did 3 to 4 years is like the golden.
Yep, and they had to do what basically mid-market to lower market teams have to do. You got to take up that little bit of risk.
Yep. Look at the Reds. They have Alex Wood, Tanner Roark, who he's been around the 1.3, 1.35 whip.
He's like a steady 4-5.
Yeah, I agree. Better than Tyler Mahle, honestly, right now. He's a really good prospect, but give him a couple years. He's not ready yet. He just isn't. I think he gave up the most home runs in National League last year.
That's true. I like the Reds rotation. The way it's shaping up right now.
Dude, Luis Castillo
is just waiting to break out.
Oh, my gosh.
Desclafani, just stay healthy.
Honestly, yeah.
And then Alex Wood was good with the Dodgers. He's a solid 2-3 guy, maybe.
You want him in the middle of your rotation, yeah.
Sonny Gray was an ace in Oakland, and then he was about the number 9 starter in New York. So, hopefully he's around. If he's like a 3 or something, that'd be awesome. And then Tanner Roark, he's going to eat up a lot of innings. Not spectacular, but, he'll be there for you.
I think it's important, too, for Sonny Gray to be in the National League. Just different teams. Think about the teams he faced when he was in the American League West at the time. He faced the Astros. The Astros were not that good. I don't think they were that good at all, honestly, when he was still with the A's back in, 2014.
That's true. They hadn't.
I don't think they were that good. And then the Mariners were not that good. I think the Angels were actually pretty decent. And then I don't really remember about the Rangers.
I feel like the Rangers were actually kind of
They were
okay
decent
there.
too, probably.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a
Way
weak
better than
division.
now.
It was a weak division,
Right.
not like it is now, which is probably the top 2 or 3 in Major League Baseball right now. Actually, no, I take that back because the Mariners are going to suck. We'll get into that here in a second too. But yeah, just him facing other batters that haven't seen him pitch per se is just going to pay dividends for the Reds and for his career. I really think so. Even though he plays in a batter's
That's exactly what I was
hitter's
about to bring
ballpark.
up. That's
I
the
mean,
only
that's
thing
the only thing that
scares me.
sucks.
Only thing that scares me.
But I mean, that's how New York was too, and he was disgusting on the road. So maybe we can find a happy medium there. But kind of moving on with other teams, I agree with you, or the Cardinals. You know, getting Andrew Miller
And Goldie.
and Goldie, who I think is the best
Absolute
first
stud.
baseman in the game.
Hard to argue against that.
Yep, you can't go wrong with the Yankees, as much as I hate to say it. I mean, they got Tulo, who's going to be a nice veteran to replace Gregorius if he can stay healthy. They got DJ LeMahieu.
DJ LeMahieu, nice addition right
Yep.
there.
Yep.
Dude just hits 300 every single year.
And then Adam Ottavino, who's a pretty good reliever. I mean, those are the top 3 that I noticed for them this offseason. Another team, the Phillies. So far, I mean, just already, trading away their 27th overall prospect in Sixto Sanchez.
Philly's good pick right there.
It
Yeah.
was honestly a really good trade, and they traded Jorge Alfaro, who came up in the league last year. Traded him to Miami to get the best catcher in baseball, per se, JT Realmuto.
Definitely the best catcher in baseball.
I mean, there was speculation he
opinion.
was going to go to the Reds too, but I think Philly was an absolute steal for him.
That was a good deal. The Reds weren't going to give up nearly as much. I mean, the
Didn't
Marlins.
they want to give up like Senzel or something? Like
Yeah,
they wanted to give
Senzel
up.
or Trammell. They wanted a top, but then
No.
they got the Phillies #1. So it was a great trade for both those teams. Phillies are going to be a nice team to watch out for. Actually, for some reason, didn't even think of them. I think it was mostly because Harper's potentially going to sign there.
And if he does, oh my god!
But that division also is the Phillies and Braves going at it, and then not to mention the Nationals
And
are
the Mets.
awful.
You can't
Right,
forget
and
the
then
Mets.
Really, the Marlins are just awful. But then other than
it's
that,
the 4 teams in the Marlins.
that's not bad.
Yeah,
Not a bad division at all.
I feel really bad. I mean, I got to mention it. I have to. For Miami, I mean, to have to rebrand again after 6 or 7 years, like change your colors completely. I understand
yeah.
it's their Miami colors and they're probably wanting to sell more merchandise, but you know, think about this. You had Yelich, you had Giancarlo, who should be playing in the outfield for any team. He needs to be traded
Absolutely.
from New York.
Ozuna.
And Azuna. Okay. Imagine those 3 right now on the Marlins with D. Gordon on the field as well and JT Realmuto. I mean, that's
Team's
disgusting.
filthy.
But, like, no. They traded everyone away, basically. I
Just
mean,
didn't work out.
my heart breaks for Marlins fans because I know it sucks, but, I mean, they got Sixto Sanchez. I mean,
They're rebuilding.
they're rebuilding.
back.
It's going to take them probably 4 years.
Yeah, I'd say 3 to 4 years. But I mean, Sixto Sanchez, you can't ask for much better than
No.
that to give up Real
No,
Muto. I mean,
absolute stud.
that was their #1. The Reds
Yep.
weren't. The Reds didn't want to give up any of their top 3,
No.
and that's coming from a Reds fan. The Marlins made the right move.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. And that really goes to show something with Bob Castellini for the Reds. You know, wow, we're actually making moves. I mean, David Bell coming here to be the manager.
Right.
I mean, his first time ever managing a Major League Ball club. I'm really excited about that. And the fact that we were able to get Puig, Alex Wood, Kyle Farmer,
And Matty Kemp,
and Matt Kemp, who's probably honestly not even going to play.
backup outfielder,
Back-
former MVP.
Back up, yeah. And the fact that you didn't have to get rid of Senzel, Trammell, I think, and Hunter Green. That just, wow. Like, really good offseason by the Reds. I think, unbiased opinion, they definitely had the best offseason. I really do.
I mean, best offseason I can remember, maybe since being born. For
honestly,
the Reds.
honestly,
It's
yeah.
been that good.
It really has. And like you said, if they win, they make the playoffs, that's great for them. They'll make money. They'll increase revenue. If they don't, okay, you trade them away for some big-time prospects.
And you've already got 3 pretty good prospects
Trade-
on the way. 2 are pretty close. Hunter
Yeah.
Green's still a ways away, but
Yeah, I mean, you're not going to get anyone's #1 prospect for a 1-year deal player. If it was a 2-year deal player, maybe.
right. But you would build up your farm system. I mean, it's already in the, I'd say, easily the top half of the league in farm systems.
Yeah.
You'd just be climbing that list.
Yeah. So let's kind of move on and talk about the worst offseason so far. Who do you got?
Oh, the good ones. All right, we'll start with the Texas Rangers.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Just pointless. The best one I have written down here is Lance Lynn.
That's
it. And then they traded Jerickson Profar, who I actually like, to you boys.
Oh, by the way, real quick, little sidebar. Wade Davis to the Astros. Or Wade Miley, excuse me.
Wade Miley. All right.
That was a really good pickup who helped him get to the NLCS. Just got to say that.
So
now continue, I'm sorry.
No, that's kind of why I'm assuming they don't need Keuchel back.
Yeah, because they
That's going
got
to
Wade
save them a
Miley.
lot of money right there. Another one, so we've got the Rangers checked off. I think we both agree on this one for sure. The Mariners, they've just done absolutely nothing but get worse.
Dude, they're
This
putting Jay Bruce at first base.
I didn't even hear that one yet.
No, literally, if you go to Roto World, Jay Bruce is listed as a
base.
starting first baseman.
That's gonna be a bad team to watch this year. But you got to think they lost Paxton.
I'm not sold on him.
I'm not either, but they lost him.
He threw one no-hitter. Congratulations.
That was their second best pitcher after Felix. And then they lost Cano and their best reliever, one of the best relievers in the game, Edwin Diaz. The last one will kind of shock you probably a little bit. The Cleveland Indians, I do not think, have had that good of an offseason. They lost Jan Gomes,
the
catcher.
Where did he sign?
Jan Gomes. Where did he
I think it was a National League East team. I do not
he
remember.
got traded to...
Was it the Nats?
That is exactly who it is. It is the Nationals.
See, that's filthy. That's pretty good.
So the Nats got Corbin and Jan Gomes. That's right.
Okay.
So the Indians lost Gomes and Brantley.
Dude, Brantley.
Now they
really
kept.
hurts.
They were thinking of trading the Kluber and the Bowers. They kept them, but still, and then they lost Andrew Miller, of course, as well. So I just don't think they've improved really at all. No. And I don't think they'll be contending for a World Series this year.
They'll definitely win their division. They'll definitely win their division. It's the worst division in baseball.
Awful.
But White Sox, I think, will be right behind them, though. I really do.
White Sox are getting better each and every year.
Michael Kopech is going to be he's supposed to be one of the big guys.
And a lot rides on Mr. Machado.
Mr. Machado. No, you're absolutely right. For me, the worst offseason, the Los Angeles Dodgers. I cannot get over. Dude,
they got Joe Kelly.
Okay, congratulations. But you gave up Yasiel Puig.
Oh, yeah, I didn't think
Alex
of
Wood,
that.
Kyle Farmer, and Matt Kemp. Okay, and guess what?
You know who they got, though?
Oh, you got Homer Bailey, and guess what you did to him? You cut him, and guess what? You're paying him. You're literally paying him to sign a minor league contract with the Royals, who's going to be in last place in the worst division of baseball. Congratulations. Absolutely horrible.
Dodgers had a pretty bad offseason.
But they still have Jock Peterson. They still have Cody Bellinger. And actually, they did sign A.J. Pollock.
And Joe Kelly.
But I just think they really took a big hit there, getting rid of four players, and especially with the Homer Bailey. I'm not complaining. It's good for Cincinnati, but it really
And they
sucks.
lost their hitting coach.
Oh, did they?
To Cincinnati.
Oh.
Turner Ward.
Oh. Oh, wow, that's savage.
Yeah.
That's savage. I was going to say the Marlins at first. But after they made that trade with the Phillies to get
hard to say the Marlins,
the number 27 prospect in all of baseball, I mean, I actually took it out. Yeah, they did what they had to, and they got Jorge Alfaro, who's
not bad.
He's a very reliable catcher. I mean,
if they can get a middle tier catcher and then have that Sixto dude come up and be a number 1 or number 2,
yeah,
that's not a bad trade at all for either team.
Yeah.
Real Muto is obviously a stud added to the Phillies, but that's exactly what rebuilding teams have to do. I think the Marlins did an outstanding job in that trade.
Right. Who do you think are going to be some surprise teams this year, just kind of based off what we know already? Like, what kind of teams do you think might be surprising you?
I think the Mets could bounce back. Theirs, basically, it all depends on the rotation, if they stay healthy. Obviously, the Reds, I think, will be bouncing up there this year. Trying to think of some other teams that might come up this year. Maybe the Twins, for some reason.
They do have Nelson Cruz. They have Nelson Cruz. They have one of the top prospects, too. They have Royce Lewis. I'd like to see if... I don't know if he got invited to spring training. He might have. But you want me to tell you mine?
Yeah. Well, I'm trying to think of some
So
other
like, I think
ones.
everyone kind of expects like they're kind of speculating. Yeah, the Mets will be better. The Reds will be better. As in the toughest division of baseball, I think the Blue Jays
Oh,
might be surprising to some people.
I can't
Okay.
see that one.
Well, think about it. So they're gonna wait 12 days. I think it's inevitable. Okay, Vlad Jr. is gonna be on the Blue Jays by April
Vlad
or
Jr. is
something.
going to be a
They have to wait
stud.
12 days, and they get an extra year through arbitration and service play. They're gonna have him. They have Lourdes Gurriel, Kevin Pillar, who I hope bounces back. He's obviously a really good outfielder.
Stroman bouncing back.
Freddie Galvis, very reliable infielder as well. Justin Smoke needs to bounce back too. He had like the career or the year of his life. I think it was 2 years ago in 2017. Unbelievable. I'd like to see that come back. I mean, they're just one of those teams that either they could win 90 games, but they could also lose 90 games. You know, you
True.
just don't really know. But I think we can both agree the Orioles.
Not enough pitching for me for the Blue Jays.
Right.
Going back to them.
Top,
Orioles
top
bad.
the four worst teams in baseball this year, and mark my word, I hate to say it, but I think it's guaranteed: the Orioles, Marlins, Pirates, and the Royals.
Royals for sure. The only one out on there that I'm not sure about is actually going to be the Pirates, even though they're playing in a very hard division. I'm just not sure they're going to be bottom four. I agree with the other three for sure. Pirates, I'm not sure yet.
Why though? Why are you smiling?
I don't know. I
mean,
feel
they
like
don't really have any.
they've
They
got
haven't really made any moves or anything.
No, they haven't made any moves. But if Marte, Polanco, Bell have better years, and their pitching staff actually comes around a little bit, like Jameson Taillon.
They just named him opening day starter actually,
Yeah,
and they have Archer, right?
They have Archer and then Trevor Williams, who actually had a decent year last year. So I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't be shocked if they were bottom four, but I think they could win a few more games. People think the only thing going against them, obviously, is the NL Central is going to be brutal this year.
Right.
So that's where I kind of do see your point.
So let's go across divisions here. Let's just kind of talk about this a little bit. Our favorites as of right now for each division. Why don't you start off? We'll start with the American. We'll start off with the American League. So let's start off with the East. I'll just kind of name the divisions off for you.
American League East.
Yep.
Number one, the defending World Series champions, Boston Red Sox, for sure at the top of the list. Although New York is obviously right there.
They're both going to be in the
Right there,
playoffs.
yeah.
I think we can both agree. They're both going to be in the playoffs, probably.
Both awesome teams. And actually, the team, just like last year, though, the Rays are not a bad team. Snell.
We need to talk. We need to talk about that actually.
Blake
How
Snell.
people sleep on the Rays and like, dude, they won like 90 games in the toughest division of baseball, where the Yankees and Red Sox won 100 games, and they didn't make the playoffs. True. Oh, that's another. Actually,
but two teams were not good last year. Orioles were horrendous, and the Blue Jays were down.
Dude, that is one thing I want to talk about real quick though. Like
Yeah.
the rule change. My number one rule that has to be implemented. Like I need it.
This
I
is
need
serious.
it. I need it because being an Oakland fan, this really upset me. I understand the simplicity and the excitement of a one-game playoff. Okay, I understand that, and I understand it's fun for baseball. However, when you're playing 3-game, 4-game series the entire season, and you work your tail off, and then it literally just comes down to one game, I think it's ridiculous. I think there needs to be a 3-game series for the wild card, and then go back to 5 games for the division series, 7 for champion, and then 7 for World Series. I mean, what do you think about that?
I like your thought. However, I do actually love the one game play-in. But
why?
now it's so exciting.
Okay,
first of all, if you're trying to capture,
what if the Reds were in the wild card again and
they've
lost?
been,
and they lost, didn't they?
It was horrible,
and it sucked.
It was
Yeah.
horrible.
Yeah.
That I do agree with. I totally understand the point of you're playing, the whole year 3-4 game series, mostly 3. So I see why it would be 3, but all of that into one game, the excitement. I love that game, but I wouldn't be mad if they changed that to a 3-game series because that's what they're doing throughout the whole season. Right. So I see that's why you would say that's how it should be. But I do love the excitement in that 1-game playoff. And the last time the Reds were in it, Cueto was all sorts of rattled.
Dropped the ball in the back. Or maybe
you probably think I'd say the opposite. But
Right.
that's a very exciting just 1-game build up. But 3-game series would make sense. For
Obviously,
baseball. That's what you're doing.
the fans of the teams that lose, they're gonna agree with me, and the teams that
win.
won, they're gonna disagree with me.
Yep.
Like, oh no, what do you mean? Like, because it sucks. Think about this: whoever's gonna be in the wild card either has to go to Fenway or Yankee Stadium. That kind of sucks, honestly.
Right.
But
No, I see that totally.
But like, I'd also like to see maybe expand the playoffs. If you're gonna do the one card playoff game, make it 2 1-game playoffs. So like that way the Rays could get in. Because like if you win 90,
What do you mean 2 game, 1 game?
so like you have 4 teams in the wild card instead of 2. So that way it gives more teams a chance for a 1-game playoff. You know what I
But
mean?
then you're extending the season out longer.
How? You play one day and the one literally just the next day, or you can play them both. Oh wait, no, I know what you're saying. Okay,
It would
yeah,
still-
because then
yeah, it
you
would
still
have
have
to
to play
extend.
like a couple days later. I mean, I guess I don't know. It sucks for the Rays
I
not
don't
to get in
know.
the playoffs because they had a really good year. So
That was the luck of the draw, unfortunately. But I see. Yeah, I mean, the Rays had a great year last year. They were just matched up with literally 2 of the best teams in baseball.
yeah. All right, going back to our divisions now. Got me all going with the Rays.
So AL East. Jeez, if it's gonna be like that for every division, it's gonna be a 3-hour show.
All right, let's try. Okay, AL Central. Who you got?
I mean, the obvious answer here is the Indians. So
Right. Okay.
that division's just rough
Just
right now.
yeah, I think that's just simple answer. I don't think you even have to go in detail with
AL
that. And then
West?
the AL West. Don't disappoint me here, but I want you to be completely honest.
I'm gonna disappoint you here. I'm going with the Houston Astros.
Right. Okay. All right. Why? I need to know why.
Houston
Just
Astros?
because of their off season, just because of prior years, or what?
Yeah, I mean, I think they just have such great team chemistry that most of those guys are, besides Keuchel, I mean, they're all staying there. Their core of Bregman, Correa, Springer, and Altuve is probably the best
Gosh.
core in baseball, I'd argue.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's hard for
Who's
me
their
to
catcher?
go
Is it Brian
against-
McCann? Did they sign Brian McCann?
Do they still have Brian McCann?
I don't know who they have.
Who is the Astros catcher?
I don't know because I know Gaddis was a DH.
Yeah, Gaddis cannot catch anymore.
A janitor goes pro. I love Evan Gaddis though, dude. I love Evan Gaddis. Well, I'll tell you my AL East.
Yeah, go for it. AL teams.
My AL East team. I'm gonna disagree with you on the Red Sox. I think it's gonna be the Yankees.
Oh, I knew it.
I think Judge just out there, and actually Ellsbury's supposed to be coming back. I mean, he's not really gonna have a spot in the team, I don't think.
Yeah,
but
he's-
he's a veteran guy, though.
so.
I mean, you
True.
never know.
Because they still have, Aaron Hicks out there, too.
Yeah.
Not to mention Giancarlo.
Oh, thank you. Who doesn't even play the
He
outfield?
plays DH.
He plays DH. I just think Gleyber Torres is an absolute stud.
Yep, for years to come.
And then, also depending if Manny Machado signs there,
Robinson Chirinos.
Robinson Chirinos. Okay.
Catcher for the Astros.
Oh, wow.
Forgot he went there from the Rangers.
Yeah. Anyway, I think Luke Voigt, it just depends. He had a really good year with the Yankees when he got traded from the Cardinals last year. But like you said, depending on where Machado
Right, that's
signs,
the
that's going to
tough part
depend if he
about it right
plays
now.
because then they're just going to move Andrew Har over to first base possibly. So
Or trade him.
honestly, I'm kind of surprised they didn't trade him because they just
That
have so
dude's
much.
what?
They have
He's
so much
young,
depth.
too.
Yeah, it's insane.
Jeez.
But yeah, so the Yankees are my favorites for the AL East. I mean, I think they're going to win 100 games. AL Central, I agree with you. I think it's definitely going to be the Cleveland Indians. I mean, there's just not that much competition right now, but I definitely think the Royals in 2 to 3 years are going to be back up at the 90 win mark because let me tell you something. Whatever you want to call him, Raul Alberto Mondesi, dude's an absolute stud, okay? And one of my favorite contract signings this year,
Oh.
Whit Merrifield, okay?
I love that dude.
I love that dude. He's
Just-
a late bloomer.
Just hits, though.
Late bloomer,
Just
he
hits.
just hits. I love
Wouldn't
him.
be shocked, but AL Central, most boring division in baseball.
Oh, hands down, no doubt. I mean, and plus you just don't see it marketed as much as you do the AL East or honestly any East Coast team, and we'll probably talk about that in our next podcast. AL West.
Oh, I wonder who he's picking here, folks.
I gotta be honest with you. I'm gonna say the Astros.
Oh.
However, I think it's going to be within 3 games at the end of the season. I think the Athletics are going to be disgustingly good again. What really hurts the Athletics, though, is not having Sean Manaea. That really
True.
hurts.
Yeah,
And
that's
they-
race.
Yeah, and looking at the rotation, they didn't have any lefties, but earlier this week they re-signed Brett Anderson, and he had the year of his life, and he's not going to be able to do that again. I hope so, but probably not. They have one of the best young outfielders in the game right now, Ramon Laureano, who was highlighted, for his play, throwing it all the way to first base from left center wall. Cannon. Batted .297 in like 67 games. So pretty good. I mean, they re-signed Mike Fiers, which I think is a good choice. He's probably going to be their opening day starter. The biggest problem I have right now is catching. Catching. Right now they have Josh Fegley as their starting catcher, who is not very good. They signed Nick Hundley from the Giants. Still, like, nothing special. I'd really like to see Martin Maldonado sign with the Athletics, like, for a one-year deal. I think it'd be good for him.
Not an awful signing of Hundley, though.
It's
I
not
don't hate
awful.
that. For an Oakland market, that's not a bad sign.
Yeah, it's not awful, but I'm still not in love with it. But I still think the Astros, though, are just overpowering in this division. With the signings of Brantley, it's just...
Lineups just stacked.
It's jacked. And all they did was improve. They improved their team.
They literally lost Keuchel.
Yeah. And the Red Sox...
They saw Verlander and Cole at the top. Keuchel didn't even crack their top two.
Dude, that's insane.
That's crazy.
And now they have Wade Miley, who will add some depth and everything like that. So let's move on to the National League side of things now.
This will get interesting.
Yep. I think we'll disagree on some of these.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think we can both agree, though, that the National League West is probably the weakest division now, though.
In the National League?
Yeah.
For sure.
Okay, so who do you got in the National League East, though?
National League East, that's a tough one because a lot rides on this Harper, what we just read about, too.
Right.
So that makes it really tough for me. However, I will go against the Phillies here, and I'll actually say the Braves.
Braves again?
I like the
Wow.
Braves team a lot. Their young core
They are.
is not as good as the Astros, but an awesome young core. Freeman, Albies, and Ronald Acuna Jr. Oh, my.
Hey, and don't forget about one of my favorite guys,
Nick
Markakis.
Markakis.
What a dude. As our buddy Brandon says, just a couple guys being dudes.
Talk about a guy having a year last year.
For real.
Wow.
And for him to take a pay cut like that and to stay with the team, like, that's what I love about baseball. You just don't see that. I mean, actually, in football, they talked about this lineman who took a pay cut. I think it was for the Chargers or Ravens. But, like, in baseball,
But you don't hear
baseball,
that.
this is where the money is. For him to take a pay cut so they could go out and get other players or just re-sign.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
And
it's
then-
incredible.
I mean, Fultonivich,
Yep.
Teheran. I mean, I like that Braves team a lot. Now, if Harper goes to the Phillies, that may, change mine a little bit, but I definitely think those are the top two.
Yeah.
And then I would place the Nats. But all three of those teams really good. And then the Mets, obviously, it's all about the pitching. But I'm going to put them in.
I don't think DeGrom's
Honestly,
going to have the
probably-
same year.
Oh, no way. Not the same year. But I'll actually put them in fourth behind the Nats. But I actually may move them up to third, Nats in fourth.
It's-
and then
it's
the top
basically
two.
a flip of a coin.
Yep. Top two, Phillies and
Braves.
Braves a lot rides
And
on
then the
Harper.
Marlins.
The Marlins are going to be in fifth by a long shot.
Yep, they might win like 50 games.
They're going to be brutal this year.
So for me, for the National League East, I'm going to say the Phillies.
Phillies?
Just for the simple fact, Andrew McCutchen coming back. He's depleted over the years, but I think he's going to have a bounce back year. I think this was a good signing for him to come back. Rhys Hoskins moving to first base. I think that's a really good move. He was a really good rookie last year. Gene Segura, really good pickup. No, we haven't talked about him yet from the Mariners. They traded
Very
away
good
J.P.
year.
Crawford. Very, very good year. And I think he's like 30 right now.
And how about this guy? Aaron Nola.
Aaron Nola. Yeah. Oh, and
That's
don't
what I'm
forget about
saying.
David Robertson. We didn't even talk about him or JT
That's what I'm saying.
Realmuto.
If they get Harper, they definitely go to my number one for sure.
No
I mean,
doubt.
that team is loaded.
Who's their center fielder? Is it Nick Williams?
Odubel Herrera,
Oh, okay.
another star.
I'm trying to even think here. I bet you so McCutchen will probably move to left field then.
Kutch will be in left.
Yeah.
Hoskins the first. Harper in right. Gene at short.
Dude, that's just insane. But see, like,
Real Muto behind the dish. That team's, if they get Harper, that's my clear shot number one. I mean, that
oh
team's
my gosh,
loaded
dude, that's
if they get
insane to
Harper.
even think about. But yeah, I think even if for some reason they don't get the Phillies, or I'm sorry,
Get Harper.
If the Phillies don't get Harper, if he's not in the National League East, then I think the Phillies will still win.
Gotcha.
If he, for some reason, signs back with the Nationals, which I highly doubt because he's already turned down an offer,
10-year, $300+ million.
which is he probably wanted $400 million. Then obviously I would change that, but I'm gonna go with the Phillies.
Fair enough.
Okay, NL Central.
Oh, Cincinnati Reds. No,
Why?
I'm just kidding. So I
Is it the Reds?
will say the Reds
Okay.
as my biased opinion.
Right.
As my non-biased opinion, I'll go with the Cubs, just because their lineup's
Oh,
still
the Cubs,
stacked.
really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I
Okay.
do like the Cubs lineup a lot. Love watching Javier Baez. But I will say the Reds I think they're going to shock a lot of people. It all comes down to their rotation, though, really.
Yeah.
I mean, their lineup is just about as good as any lineup in baseball. Just all comes down to that rotation. But my non-biased opinion, I will go Chicago Cubs.
Chicago Cubs. Wow. I didn't even think about that. I was set in stone. I'm going to say Cardinals.
And I knew you were going to say that.
Cardinals.
Those offseason
Actually,
moves.
exactly how it is right here. I would go Cardinals, Brewers, Reds, Cubs, Pirates.
I do not think the Brewers are going to have as good of a year.
You don't think so?
I don't think so.
Why?
Because they lost their pitching coach, and I don't think their pitchers will be nearly as good this year as they were last year.
True.
I like their lineup.
They don't even have
but-
Moustakas anymore, too. I just realized that.
True.
That's another free agent.
True. And he was a free agent last year, too.
Yeah.
I do like their lineup. I'm just not thrilled about the Brewers pitching at all. I actually think they'll be in fourth place this year.
Okay.
But I don't love the Cardinals. I love their moves.
Mm-hmm.
I think they'll be up there. I think the Cubs will be up there. I think the Reds will be up there.
I mean, they're disgusting. Paul DeJong, Jorko,
Ozuna,
Goldie.
an older Yachty, but still
I mean,
a
still
Yachty.
very reliable. I think
Matt
they're going to
Carpenter.
be back. Yeah, I just think they're going to be back up at the top like they used to be. I'm going to go with the Cardinals on that one. And then let's finish this
NL
out.
West.
NL West. Who you got?
Trying to think here. We've got
You got the Dodgers,
Giants,
Padres,
Padres,
Rockies.
and Dodgers, Padres, Giants, Rockies,
Diamondbacks?
Diamondbacks.
Diamondbacks. There we go.
Diamondbacks and the Padres are going to be pretty bad.
Yeah.
Rockies. I'll go Dodgers. Still good rotation. I love Clayton Kershaw, one of the best pitchers in the game. I know they lost a lot of pieces, but I mean Bellinger. You still got some guys there. Peterson, who could get traded still. Seager coming back. I'll still go Dodgers because I mean I actually would say this is probably the second worst division in baseball after the AL Central.
No, I agree.
I mean the Padres, Diamondbacks, no way. Rockies, I mean maybe second place, and then the Giants aren't going to be good. So I mean the only one to even really argue is
There is no argument.
yeah.
I mean I'm like torn because here's my thing. I mean, the Rockies have Trevor Story, and they have Ryan McMahon, Garrett Hampson at second base,
but lost LeMahieu.
and they lost
That's what it
LeMahieu. I think they signed Mark Reynolds again,
Sounds right.
and then Desmond's back in the outfield. They don't have Cargo.
And their pitching scares me.
Their pitching is atrocious.
Yeah, it's like that's why
it was supposed to be John Gray as their face of the starters. He's not even going to start.
they lost Ottavino.
And they lost Ottavino.
So
I mean, I was torn at first, but then all you got really going for you is Arenado right now and Blackman. So I mean, I'm gonna have to go with the Dodgers too, honestly.
And then the Padres and Diamondbacks, obviously.
Unless Padres get Machado.
Padres have been awful.
Because that was a team that was
They've been interested in Machado and Harper. I say both go to the Padres.
Stop. If they
That
do
would
that, they're
change
winning the
some
World
things.
Series.
That would change some things.
Oh, you know what? Theoretically, let's just think about this. Imagine they do, right? So you have Hosmer at
Give it.
first. Will
Hosmer,
Myers.
who is way overpaid.
Oh, no doubt. No doubt. See, that's
got-
another contract. It's just, Anyway, you got Will Myers. Obviously, you'd have Machado. I mean, dude, their
Harper.
team is loaded with prospects.
They have
Loaded. Luis
great
Urias,
great farm system.
he's supposed to be an absolute stud. They got Francisco Mejia from the Indians.
True.
He's supposed to be a stud catcher. They have Manny Margot. I mean,
They're getting better slowly but surely. They're getting better.
and honestly,
Crawling
they're in the right division to be able to do that.
Yep.
So,
I think we can both agree Giants and Diamondbacks definitely not going to be as
No.
good.
I think-
Diamondbacks for sure. I mean, they lost their best player.
Padres could
And then
surprise
Pollock.
people though. They could.
Padres
they could be one
in
of those
that
teams
division
that
because of the division.
Yeah. So, okay. So before we end this podcast, we kind of have our own little idea here that we're going to throw at each other. We call it the start one, cut one, bench one. Kind of like the you marry one and, the rest from there. So I'm going to start with you, Ryan. I have 3 players that I'm going to name you, and you're going to tell me the ones that you would start, cut, and bench. So start one, cut one, bench one. Mookie Betts.
Oh,
Okay. Mike Trout.
that's Trout and
Giancarlo Stanton.
and Jonk.
Yeah,
Wow,
and
you're
you have
hitting
to give
with
me
the hard
yeah,
guys today.
and you have to tell me why. You have to give me reasons behind that. So, tell me what you think.
All right, here we go. Let's see. Start one, cut one, and bench one. Man, that's tough.
Yep.
So start, and I love all 3 of these guys. Actually,
I know you do. That's why I said that.
So start, I will go Mike Trout because he is the best player in baseball
Generation, probably.
for sure. So I have to start him. Cut would have to be, and the only reason being is because he doesn't play the field right now. Is
Yeah.
Giancarlo Stanton.
Yeah.
If he played the field, it'd probably be a different story. But actually, I think I would still keep the same list as of right now. And then my bench would be Mookie Betts because I would definitely want him on the team. Just so exciting,
Hey,
young
bring him on the
player.
base paths or
Dude's a
pinch
stud.
hit.
But yeah, I would not be smart if I didn't start the best baseball player alive right now.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I love the comparison between him and Mickey Mantle. I mean, I definitely see the comparisons there. Trout is just incredible. I mean, it's crazy thinking that like we have this generation where it's kind of sad actually because a lot of people don't know about Mike Trout, just because he's a West Coast guy. My personal opinion, I think he's going to come home in 2 years
Yep,
and
that'll
go to
be
Philly.
that'll be changing.
And then they're going to be the team of the decade. They will be the team of the decade, Philadelphia.
Trout is definitely not going to be an Angel here in the next few years.
Unless
and
they-
he might even get traded not this year, but next year if they know they're not going to sign him.
Really, they better get like
That's my opinion of it. Oh, they better get a lot.
They'll
Yeah,
get
the
like
house.
3 or 4 prospects. He's the best player in our generation. Anyway, so I guess it's my turn. What do you got for me?
All right. Right here off the top of my head, I came up with 3 guys.
Oh,
We've got Altuve,
Yeah.
we've got Harper, and we've got Machado. It wouldn't be right to end this section without a little Harper and Machado action. Start one, bench
man.
one, and cut one between those 3 studs.
Oh, jeez. Oh, why? Okay. I'm going to start Altuve. Because he hits for power, hits for contact, gets on base. The dude's an absolute stud.
Does everything.
And middle of the infield is hard to come by nowadays, honestly. Bench. I'll start with the cutting. I'm going to cut Machado for the simple fact that I don't like the kind of player he is. I don't like that he steps on players in
you think-
championship series games.
You think he's dirty?
Oh, I think he's very dirty. Don't get me wrong, he's a great ball player, but I honestly just don't like the way he plays. Like, I remember this was an issue when he was playing in Oakland. He threw a bat all the way down third base towards Josh Donaldson because he was just unhappy. And then he stepped on 2 players, like, in the playoffs, I think, or something like that.
Oh yeah.
Not cool.
He's had some
He's
dirty
lucky
plays in his
Jesus
past.
Aguilar didn't push him to the ground.
Jesus Aguilar is a man I would not mess with. Either.
Exactly. Oh, hey, is that an Achilles? Hold on a sec.
Jeez.
Smash. So given the fact that I already told you the other 2, then I'd put Harper on the bench. I mean, I also personally, I don't like how cocky he is, and I don't like that he's not really a team guy. That's why I love Jonathan Papelbon because he actually stood up to
Yep.
Harper. And I absolutely admire that.
And then immediately was off the team.
Yeah.
But no, I do agree with you. He did the
did.
right thing.
He did the right thing.
And I actually like Harper and Machado, but I see your point both. A lot of people
Yeah.
hate both of them.
Yeah.
Not even just one. A lot of people dislike both.
Now, Harper coming off the bench, though, to pinch hit.
Pretty nice.
it's pretty nice. So I'm going to go with those three right there.
That's fair.
Yeah. So, well, this has been the first episode of season 6, and we'd like to thank you all for tuning in. Do you have any closing remarks, Ryan?
Not right now. See you guys next time.
Yes, sir. Thank you guys so much, and tune in next week.